Hello, and welcome to the ConsoleWorks instructional video series. Today we're talking about ConsoleWorks 4.7-0G0 and using Forced SSL with CW SSH CLI. A little history of the CW SSH CLI. In May 2011, with ConsoleWorks 4.5, we released it as an alternative command line client to CW Term, a command line client that you can use with your favorite terminal emulator like PuTTY or Reflection or whichever you want to use. In 4.6 of ConsoleWorks, we saw the addition of a GUI control panel for starting and stopping it, and the automatic installation of it on the CW host server. And as of 4.7, we now support using Force SSL for CW SSH CLI in the GUI with the addition of a field called Preferred Server Hostname found in the Admin Server Management Configuration page. Prior to ConsoleWorks 4.7, you needed to start CW SSH CLI manually for Forced SSL, and so if you wanted it to survive server restarts, you also needed to add those commands into your startup scripts. The following steps are needed to do the setup on a clean installation. If you've already done your SSL cert import for CW SSH CLI, you should be able to just pass that up. By the way, when you create an SSL cert in ConsoleWorks, you don't necessarily know what or if it used the hostname for the cert. It may use the IP address. And so this tutorial is kind of a way to help you find that information quickly. The steps we're going to use will be to log into ConsoleWorks via HTTPS, determine what the host information is by looking at the cert itself so we can find the name or the IP address. We'll stop CW SSH. We'll turn off Force SSL if it's currently turned on. Fill in the preferred server host name that we talked about with the results of point 2. Be sure and save that. And then start CW SSH CLI. Then we'll log into the ConsoleWorks host via PuTTY, in my case. And we'll use the host name and the default port of 8022. We'll run the load SSL key command so you can see that to install the SSL key into the Java store. Then we'll go back to the UI. We'll stop CW SSH CLI. We'll turn on Force SSL, always remembering to save this. And then we'll start CW SSH CLI again, and we'll test it one more time. And then once you're happy after you've done yours, you can set CW SSH to start automatically and remove or remark out any comments in the startup scripts you may have been using prior to ConsoleWorks 4.7. And then there are more slides below that give you examples of screenshots on where to find what the server name or IP address was used for creating your certificates. I did that because I kind of have a way of blowing through those things sometimes in these demos. This is a screen for Firefox. You click on the padlock. This is a screen for Internet Explorer. If it's in a certificate error mode, you can right-click on the certificate error dialog and to bring up the certificate itself. You can see it's issued to Peppo. You can also go into Internet Explorer, go to the Internet Options, and then the Content tab. And then on this one, it was the Intermediate Certificate Authorities tab. And then down there, you can see that that server, cwdemo.consoleworks.com. And then finally, you can see by running a --f of cwsshcli.out, where we started CWSSH in non-SSL mode, and it uses HTTP localhost. And then when we change over to HTTPS with Forced SSL, it uses the information in that field to go to Peppo on HTTPS. So with that, let's get into the live demo, and you can see for yourself what this looks like. All right, so we're logged into the Peppo Mint invocation on Peppo. I used HTTPS so that I can determine the cert by clicking on the padlock in Firefox. Peppo is indeed the name that was used by the Managed Certificates program when the SSL cert was created. So let's open our configuration tab. And while we're doing things, we'll drag in the CWSSH tab. For the moment, we will stop CWSSH. We'll come back to the configure tab and put in Peppo for the name, for the preferred server host name now. Won't turn on Force SSL just yet. We'll come over here and we will start CW SSH now. Then we'll come over here and get PuTTY. PEPPO 8022. The default port doesn't have to be used, but is the default. We'll log in as the console manager. Using the super secret password. If we type LOA and tab, you can see we have tab completion for the load SSL key command. Press enter. Y for yes. Typically the CA search does not have a password, so we press enter. And we can put in an alias here, and we'll call it Peppo SSL. You can see that we've already used that at one time, so let's try another one. PPO SSL, that's 4. How about that? It really doesn't matter how many times you do that. The certificate has been imported successfully. Let's exit. And back over here in the GUI, we'll stop the server one more time, CW SSH. Notice we haven't started or stopped ConsoleWorks. Don't expect to. Click on Force SSL. Save it. Because we're not loading and unloading the SSL key. If that were the case, you would have to restart your server. We're just turning a feature on and off. But the same SSL key is being used. SSL certificate. And press start. Go get Mr. PuTTY one more time. PEPPO 8022. This time I'm going to log in as myself. Crow. And there it is. You can see if I do a list, you can see all the consoles configured for this server. There's the help. It had more than one CON. Sorry. Tab complete, and there are the consoles configured. And then if I bring in the tail-f I'm running on CW SSH CLI, you can see where Console Manager logged out after doing the command that we did to load the SSL. You can see where we started ConsoleWorks, or CW SSH CLI again, and now it's using Peppo and HTTPS. You can see where Crow logged in, and I used a password. So that's pretty much what it's all about. And once you're comfortable, like I said in the other thing, in the slides, once you're comfortable with that, you can take out any manual scripts you have and set ConsoleWorks in the GUI to auto start. And that will survive restarts. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now.